Hello and welcome to tonight's show.
And hello and welcome to episode 186 of On the Bench, a podcast for scale modelers by scale modelers, all about scale models. And this episode is being brought to you by our latest Patreon supporters, Elliot Spicer and Pombuilt Modelling. You too can be like these fine two gentlemen and support the show. Simply go to www.patreon.com/onthebench. And pledge any amount from as little as $1 per month. Your contributions are greatly appreciated and they help us with our production and hosting costs. And don't forget, for everybody who pledges, you get a free OTB sticker as well. Before we get on with the show, let's hear from our sponsor, Scott from the Scale Model Supply.
Hi, I'm Scott, the creator and owner of the Scale Modeler Supply, Australia's largest manufacturer of hobby paints. Our premium airbrush-ready acrylic lacquer paints are designed specifically for use on plastics, with a comprehensive range covering all popular modelling subjects including military, aircraft, rail, auto, sci-fi and more. And not only that, but we also have a wide selection of essential hobby tools and now, Infinite Colour, our new range of water-based paints for miniatures. So to check out our range and to find your closest retailer, please visit our website at scalemodeler.com.au. So when quality matters, choose SMS Paints.
Hello and welcome to the show, and in the studio I have with me Ian.
G'day Dave, g'day Julian, g'day listeners.
Of course Julian's here as well.
Yes, I'm here.
Gentlemen, how are we this fantastically fine morning?
It is a really nice morning, isn't it?
It is, yes.
It's a sensational
The
morning.
rest of the week's been pretty ordinary,
I know.
weather-wise.
Well, weather-wise and everything, but
Well, what the listeners don't know is that after we have the lovely breakfast,
yes,
we then go into the little courtyard thing out the back of Dave's place, and these two have a smoke. I just sort of stand there or sit there. There's like two little benches out there, and it's very, very nice,
Very
early in the morning.
very
and
romantic.
the sun's
Romantic, that's a new way of putting it.
The sun's, coming down on us, and it's a sort of we're heading into winter, so
Yes.
We are.
it's not chilly out there, but it's
It'll get there.
It's sort of like just a nice pleasant temperature, and it's really nice to have your morning coffee out there.
Yep,
It is.
very true.
But gents, before we sort of go anywhere, I've got something really interesting that I need to just share with you and the rest of the listeners. So, as we're recording this, the AMPS Nationals is on this weekend.
Yes.
And which is, if you're an armour builder, it's like the nirvana of where you got to go.
Yeah.
But this little gem just happened to drop this morning.
Hi everyone, it's Andy from Hobby Headquarters, and I have a very special video for you today. Today, I am announcing my next brand new 16 scale kit. Super excited about this. Now, a couple quick things before I do actually announce it. First of all, the model itself is completely done being CAD'd. So everything is all designed and ready to go. So now they're actually going to start cutting the molds. In fact, I believe they're going to start cutting the molds the beginning of next week. So we're moving along, slowly but surely, because it takes quite a while to have all the CAD work done properly for a kit like this. Now, so with that being said, usually it's a couple of months to get all of the molds done for the first, test shot ones. And I expect to have a test shot in mid-June is approximately when they're estimating we'll have the first test shot. Then, of course, it has to go through testing to make sure it fits properly and everything, all that kind of stuff, just like all the other kits. So it's a little ways away, and we're not doing pre-orders or anything like that right now. This is just because I'm super excited about this kit. This is probably one of the most asked for kits in 16 scale that I've seen on all my channels, whether it be Facebook or YouTube, because I do actually listen to you guys. I want to hear what kind of stuff you guys want to see, and if enough of you want it, well, we're going to go ahead and make it. So without further ado, here is the next Andy's Hobby Headquarters 16 scale kit. And here it is, the next Andy's Hobby Headquarters 1/16 scale kit, which will be AHQ009 will be the M113A1 / M113A1 ACAV. This is Armor Personnel Carrier 2-in-1 kit. And the 2-in-1 kit meaning that you can build either the M13A1 or the ACAV version, which you see in the front of the picture here. So this is all of the artwork that we had done up to help advertise this. Remember, this is just about to have the molds start being cut. And now you will see some of the other images. So you can see we've got different front ends of the vehicle. We have a figure. We are, of course, going to include a figure. Jason literally just got done sculpting it, 3D sculpting it, just a few days ago. That was one of the things we were waiting on, and now we have that, and it looks great. He's in a nice natural position up in the commander's cupola up there, or in the ACAV cupola. It'll work in either one of them. Also, you'll see that the kit is going to come with suspension and movable road wheels. And of course, because it has movable suspension, you're going to get workable tracks, which you're looking at right now. And next up, you're looking at a picture that is going to show you that this kit has an interior inside. This has all the interior parts inside the crew compartment. It is not going to include an engine. We don't include an engine, just like we did with the MA Greyhound, but all the areas, because with that big giant open hatch back there, you'll be able to display it in the down position and then see all of the stuff inside. So that is going to be a great feature. And of course, the giant hatch up on the top too. You'll be able to look inside and see that. And then of course, there's going to be all kinds of aftermarket accessories, especially for this vehicle. Different figures, manning those M60s on the back. If you do the ACAV version, man, there's going to just be so many incredible options for this vehicle. So there you go, guys. There is a look at the artwork for the soon-to-be-released 16-scale Andy's Hobby Headquarters M113A1 / A1 ACAV. And I'd like to do a quick little shout out to two very dear friends of mine, to Eugene and John, for all of the encouragement during the process of getting this kit off the ground. I want to thank you both.
Well. To say that I'm chuffed is understating it. I mean, I woke up this morning and my social media was flooded with comments. We've even got a couple of emails in already about it. And as much as I would love to say that I played a small part in this, I can't take that credit. However, I'm just absolutely so chuffed that this has been announced and being released.
Yes, you would be.
Well, Dave, you're going to have to practice your weathering.
Yeah.
Well,
because, and I'll say this straight now, I've always said this, is that larger scales kind of demand weathering.
Mm.
The higher you go in size, right, for a model, the more pressure there is for detail and for thicknesses to be right and for weathering to be on point.
Correct.
Well, I've got to say, in the modelling community, those who build Australian armour, that little community is going absolutely nuts at the moment. They're interesting. An aftermarket builder called Arms Corps Models, who does really fantastic stuff, providing aftermarket additions specifically for Australian armour. So he's posted on his page that he'll look at doing some aftermarket stuff for it. Some of the stuff that he mentions is, well, I'll need a T50 turret for one. Is it going to be a printed turret, or is it going to be cast in the manufacturing process? The cargo hatch will need a bit of modification for the Aussie version. The driver's hatch with or without the spider lock. The top hull, a 134 or 150 version. What version of comms? 524 or the Vic 1 or Raven. So the list goes on. So he's going to be having a close look at it when it eventually comes out. And look, I'm just absolutely thrilled and totally excited. But it doesn't stop there.
It doesn't stop there.
For lovers of M113, particularly the Aussie variants, I can't get it out. I'm that excited.
He's too excited.
AFV Club have announced coming soon is an Australian Army M113A1 LRV version, which will feature rear oil drum rack. It has 3 versions that can be changed. It's going to have the brand new tail light of the Aussie Army one, which has 2 versions that could be changed, as well as brand new roof-mounted ammunition box rack, and also some brand new decals and painting instructions specifically for the Australian Army M113A1 LRV. And this is for the M113s that we operate in the Australian Army circa 1995 onwards, I want to say.
Right, yep.
Around the time of Timor. So, more exciting news. So, for those of you who love building Aussie armour, it's just an absolute. It's like Christmas all at once today. It's just a beautiful thing.
So this kit is in 35th scale.
Correct. This kit's in 35th scale.
Yep.
And AFV Club, to their credit, have done a couple of Aussie subjects now. So they went back and did the
Centurion.
Well, they've done the Centurion, yes. They did the M113 early version, and they also did the I want to say the fire support one as well.
Right.
Oh,
the
the
M113 fire support with the Scorpion turret.
they also did, I think, the self-propelled artillery thing that we had in Vietnam, right?
Oh yes, the M108.
Yeah.
Yep, they did that as well. So AFV Club have been particularly kind to Australian armour model builders, and I'm just beside myself with glee enjoy it at the moment. So we have to get Andy back on to have a chat with him.
You're going to have to buy both and put one inside the other.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
It's actually
And
one
then
of
get a
the...
72nd scale one and have like a Russian nesting doll.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I'm not going to go that far. But anyway, so it's, real exciting day.
Yeah,
Very
it would
exciting
be.
day.
Well, I've got a new release.
Yes.
One of my favourite companies, Copper State Models. I think it's this coming Friday, or maybe the Friday after. They're releasing I think it's going to be in 135th and 132nd. The 1916 Wanderer 4 horsepower, two-cylinder German motorcycle.
Ooh, what scale?
Either 135th or 132nd, because I know they did that 132nd and 135th for the Triumph.
Yeah.
So I'm saying this will be the same.
32nd scale will be better.
Well, if you're doing 32nd scale, but I do 35th.
Yeah, I know, but geez, motorcycles are small on 35th scale.
And I've got the Triumph, and it's absolutely stunning bit of 3D work, 3D printed work. So I'll be looking forward to getting my fingers on this one.
Cool. Very good.
Oh yeah, I was quite happy when that popped up.
Well, while we're talking about what caught our eye, did anything catch your eye, Julian, this week?
No, because I don't really pay attention to most things going on, really. I'm very oblivious to the...
Yeah, I've just been trying to chase down 124 scale XY GT bonnet pins.
Are they very specific, are they?
They are.
Any luck?
No.
No, are they the kind of thing that you can scratch build?
I was thinking, yes, I might be able to. I'd need to get some punches so I can punch some holes, because they're like a round circle bonnet pin. Because the standard ones, I think they had like with the 70s eras Mustangs, that were like 3 points. But these are like just a single bar in the middle that's curved on the insides.
Right.
So to scratch build one would be a challenge. But I would prefer...
Well, you only need to do the outside, right?
Yeah. So the thing with the XYs is they had like an insert that sat inside the bonnet that the actual pin sat in.
Right.
So I'd have to figure out how I'm going to do that. And try and find some 5-slotters for the XW.
Right.
So I bought me paints. So
Yep.
I've got me paints now for me two GTs.
Mm-hmm.
For the XW, I went Ford Electric Blue, which
Right.
is like a light bluish metallic
Where'd you
colour.
get the paints from?
Got them from the local hobby shop,
Yeah.
the Hobby Man. But they're SMS paints, of course.
Yep.
And I got Vermilion Fire.
And just
For
to
the
mention,
XY.
Scott does a fantastic job of matching paints with the
Oh,
vehicles that are
yeah.
coming
They're all
out
factory spec colours
now.
too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, really, really excited. Looking forward to probably hooking into the XW. Oh, I don't know yet, because I've still got to find 5-slotters for the XW.
Didn't I send you a link that has...
Yeah, but they're different. I had a look. They're different to the Ford factory ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I have to find someone who's good with CAD work and maybe sling them some money.
I shouldn't have sent you that link then, because now you've got your brain stuck on 5-slotters.
Well, I always wanted to get 5-siders for the XW.
Okay.
Because they're more genuine.
Right. Okay.
And throw the 12-siders on the XY.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well.
I might have a person in mind for you to have a look at doing that. So I'll make that. I'll tell you offline.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, he might do it for you.
Because I found photo etch bonnet pins that suit the XY.
Yeah.
Which are really nice. They're working bonnet pins.
Yeah.
Which means I have to drill little holes in the bonnet.
Oh, seriously?
so I can actually sleeve over the top of the pins. So they've got the little split pins that go in them. As well. And a bit of wire.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be quite. Because I just because years when I was a youngster, I used to do some after school work at a wrecking yard, and they specialised in XWs and XYs. So I know a lot about those cars, and I look at the model kit and I go, well, I'm thinking about chopping the front half of the chassis away and rebuilding it.
Jeez, that's getting out there.
Yeah.
You're not going to turn this thing upside down, though.
Sorry?
You're not going to turn it upside down. So what's
I know, but still. It's something I'm familiar with, and I want to make sure it looks
okay.
How about just build it out of the box first, and then the second one,
that's actually a very good idea. Actually,
yeah, build one out of the box and the other one.
Yeah,
because you'll also get more familiar with the kit doing it that way.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. That way you can buy another one.
Yes,
he's gonna be. He was always gonna buy another one, right? We know what Ian's like.
I don't know. No, I was just going to stick with one of each.
He knows more about these cars than he knows about Spitfires. And how many of those has he bought?
Well, P40s for that matter.
Oh,
too.
P40s, yeah.
I'm trying to think, was it about 13 or 14 Edward Spitfires I got now?
Wow.
And
they weren't even released that long ago.
And I'm going to be getting rid of all my P40s when Edward starts bringing them out.
Get rid of them now, dude.
Yeah.
Well, how have you guys been since the last episode? What you been
good.
up to?
Me, not a great deal. I'm just so busy at the moment. I don't have much time for modelling. I'm lucky to get like an hour on the bench a week at the moment. So I'm still plodding away on the little Nakajima Dave float plane. So just doing a bit of cleaning up here and there. Did the base colouring on the engine last weekend, and that was pretty much what I got done. Plus a little bit of puttying around the float, and that was it. So hopefully this weekend I might get another hour's worth in. And
Right. Yeah.
I just want to get it close to painting. It's getting so much closer to painting stage now, which
Very
is
cool.
going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then rigging.
Oh yeah. Rigging. Anyway, so what I've been talking to Brian over at the Built Sideways podcast.
Yeah.
I even recorded an episode with them.
Oh, you did end up doing the episode.
Yeah, we had some technical difficulties, but I think it all should have gotten done. They're quite far ahead, so you know if you're waiting for it to come out, it won't come out for a little while, I don't think.
All right, yep.
Because I think they're like 3 episodes ahead,
Oh, jeez.
something like that.
They're an organised bunch, aren't they?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't.
More organised than us.
I do want to, be on their podcast again in the future because they were great fun to talk to. Holy crap, Brian can talk your ear off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very funny. He just goes on and on. You really have to have someone step in and stop him because he won't stop. He won't stop at all.
Yeah.
And
So what are you guys talking about?
that's the problem, right? So you know how when we have a topic, we tend to stick to the topic and we'll stray off a bit.
Yep.
And when we have episodes like this,
Stray off a bit will stray very far from the
and
topic.
you don't know
most
what
times.
straying's like till you talk to Brian. Holy crap! Right? So there's us when we're trying to stay on topic. There's us when we've got no, like today, when we've got no actual.
We're unscripted today.
Yeah.
We're unscripted, right? We don't have a topic to talk about. We're just sort of wandering all over the place. And then there's talking to Brian about an actual topic, and it'll stray further than this.
Yeah.
Right, it's all over the place. I couldn't even have you ever talked to someone who's just so talkative that you're forming responses, and then they'll just they'll just go off road of that topic, and you're like, but I didn't get to say what I was already talking.
Yeah.
Right, I was already talking about the point I wanted to make. I only got halfway through it before that got derailed, and that happens like 5, 6, 7 times. It just keeps on ricocheting off into the wilderness.
But you had a good time though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's the main thing.
Yeah, you can't
See,
go wrong.
imagine going out to a pub with them. You'd be there like until 2 a.m. in the morning, just yakking away. Wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
well, that's the thing, right? So after we killed the recording,
yeah.
then I stayed on to talk to Brian,
Yeah.
and he kept going till it was 3 a.m. where he lives.
Seriously? Oh
Right?
my god!
I was getting hungry, right? We'd started at around for me around lunchtime. I think it was like around 12 o'clock.
Aussie time.
Right? Yeah. And it was by the time I had to like call it, it was like 6 at night.
Oh, God.
So he starved you into submission.
Yeah,
Pretty much. Yeah.
Like I've been in situations like that. I've been in like model clubs where we got to close the venue. Everyone's going home, and then we stand around for the next 3 hours in the car park just talking. Right?
Yeah.
I've been to those. So there are talkative people. And I like talkative people rather than people who don't talk. But that was something else. Anyway, I got roped into a group build. I was sort of typing and stuff in his Discord, where they have a lot of their community and they're posting up pictures and things. And I don't know how it happened, but people started talking about this one type of gunpla, the camphor.
Right.
Camphor. How do you spell that?
Kampfer. Yep, that should be it. And it's a great big blue thing.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Okay. Yep.
So it's not as sort of square and blocky looking as most gunpla are. It's
More
quite
organic.
Yeah, it's more curved and sleek.
It's a mobile suit though, isn't it?
Yeah. And
So you already got one of these in the stash, do you?
I didn't, but now I do.
He didn't, but now I do.
So basically, I didn't. I've got too much stuff going on as it is, and too many like impending builds I need to get done, and I really didn't need to get roped into another group build. But I relented and I said, if you can get 5 people down confirmed for this thing, I'll jump into. And they got it like within the hour, so I had to pull the trigger on one, didn't I?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So they come
I
up.
don't see it being a cheap kit either.
$80 Aussie, I think.
Well, that's if it was expensive, I could have said, man, it's so expensive. Oh, sorry, guys. But no, it was actually a pretty good price. So I think it was like $89. I think it was here,
Okay.
which is very reasonable compared to what they go for in the US. So I had to buy it, didn't I?
What colour are you going to do it?
Well, I'm not too sure. I can do it the blue
Yeah.
that it's known for, or I could do it something else.
Yeah, it's like a big space Smurf, isn't it?
By Smurf, you mean like Space Marines kind of
Ultramarine?
Smurf. Yeah, Ultramarine Smurf, yeah.
Put a big Ultramarine album on the shoulder pad.
Just so that people know that you're not talking about actual Smurfs,
You'd have to paint the top of his head white then,
Yes.
and his legs
Yes.
legs white.
Yeah, so it's actually got like, you see all those yellow nozzles and things, it's just covered in them.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yep.
Yeah, so I do like the fact that it's quite sort of functional designed, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Oh, very cool. So when are you starting that one?
Well, the group build starts May 1st and has a runtime of 3 months. So I don't have to start it yet, but I could.
Oh, dude, it'll fly together. It'll be so quick.
Yeah, but I want to do a bunch of things to it. And also, here's the thing. So as far as kits go, it doesn't actually have a whole lot of aftermarket support compared to a lot of the other kits. A lot of the other Gundam kits, there's like resin stuff.
Oh, yeah, you showed us that resin aftermarket you got for one of your.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's lots of things. There's
full
like, for some there's like some photo etch detail kits where they give you like small things that you can just stick on it for, upgrades in detail on bolt heads and whatever else, like joints and things, And then you got like sort of resin stuff where it's just like miscellaneous, like sort of detail bits you just stick onto the existing armor for more areas of interest. And then you got like they replaced the whole armor panel with a resin one that's just completely sculpted differently, right?
Yep.
This has pretty much nothing. There are there's like someone makes a set of like turned aluminium like jet nozzle type things for for this kit, but other than that, there's really not much. And to be honest, I wouldn't use them anyway because they're not. I don't. It's not like you can paint aluminium. You just have to sort of stick it on.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And I'd rather not. I'd rather not have aluminium ones because I do like the fact they're yellow on the blue.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so what I might do is I might try to sort of like scribe the inside of them a little bit and add some sort of like nozzle detail and things like that. And
cool.
Something along those lines. There's some things I could do.
So it's just a basic build-off.
Well, it's completely. It's a blank slate. You can do whatever you want. You can paint it different.
But everyone's building that same kit.
Yes, and there's two kits. There's the master grade, which is the 1/100 scale one, the larger one, and then there's the smaller one, the more basic kit, which is the 1/144 scale one.
That's one you got.
No, I got the bigger one.
Oh, you got
the master grade one.
Yeah.
Ooh, flashy.
Yeah, and it comes with a pump action shotgun. I've always liked the idea of like big robots using just scaled up versions of regular firearms.
Wow.
One of my favorite series is Patlabor, right? And that's basically they've mechs that are used by the police to police, say, drunk construction workers who have decided to get in their construction mech that they use for their job, and they become a belligerent drunk while piloting a robot, And so they're like, stop, we're the police. And then, along comes the police mech and it's got like a truncheon, and, and they've also got pump action shotguns and great big revolvers, like just scaled up regular guns. It's really cool to see a robot, It's got like, and the thing is like the mech is painted in the same colors as actual Japanese police cars,
right?
With the black and white and the gold sort of star emblem, and has like the red lights on the shoulders that are like a light bar on a police car.
Yep. Very strange.
Well,
Dave, yes.
Well, I've been moving along with my Atlas Agena build, but I came a cropper and I sort of posted it on our On Your Bench Facebook page. So I'm doing the. Let me grab it here. I'm doing the Atlas Agena D with the Agena target vehicle, the ATV. And I've got to say, the decals just go down so smoothly. They go down really, really well. And I've never had any issues with Horizon model decals before. So I put the decals on this, let them dry for a day, and then came back, gave them a spray of Mr. Hobby. Was it Mr. Hobby?
I believe so.
Yeah, Mr. Hobby Super Clear. And then to my horror, some of the decals started bubbling. I go, what the heck? So, I posted this on Facebook and people said I put some decal solution down on top of it to try and smooth, which I did. I got the really hard stuff out. I got the solver set or something.
Yeah, that stuff. Yeah,
I got the real,
just nuke them.
Yeah, and I just nuked it. But I was happened to be chatting with Julian last night on a Zoom meeting. We were just getting together and just building stuff. And I think I know what I did wrong. Because, and Julian said, when he ever does, he always makes sure he uses an airbrush rather than a rattle can when he does that sort of stuff. I think I had lack of control over the spray can. I think too much came down, and that's reactivated the decal and sort of made it bubble and sort of get underneath a little bit and pop some.
I've had decals swell and become thicker than they used to be because I laid too much clear down on top.
Oh, so it's just like absorbed it like a sponge.
Kinda, something like that. It's definitely affected it in some way, yeah.
But I've got to say, the decals...
always put a light coat over the top first.
Yeah.
Let it dry, let it seal, then you can start putting your jammy coats on.
Well, I've never had this issue happen before, so it took me by surprise. But I've got to say, it's not the decals themselves because they go down so well.
They look nice and nice decals.
And for large decals, you always got to worry about how they're going to go on. And on top of this is a cylindrical surface, so they just went on so well, and they're so easy to move around and everything. So the decals are fine. And Tony from Horizon Models saw it, and he reached out straight away, and he said, "Hey, Dave, I've got I can send you an extra thing if you need it," which I thought was really nice of him to do.
Oh, it's just Tony. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, but. Yeah, so as it stands now, there's still a little bit of bubbling around the checker, the black and white checker part of it. So I've got two choices. I can the second kit I've got, I can redo the ATV, and the current ATV I've got, I'll just cut it in half and make it the augmented target docking adapter, which is sort of, and it uses different decals anyway. So so clean this one up, redo it, and so I've got a couple of things, or I'll just leave it because I showed you this morning, and so
it's not too bad.
It'll make a really nice display. It's not competition worthy anymore, I don't think, with the decals like that, because I can still see with my naked eye the bubbling still.
Yeah,
Which
like it's
hasn't-
tiny bubbles though.
Yeah.
It's not like they're really big, in your face bubbles. They're tiny ones.
It'll look nice sitting on the display. So I might even So
Maybe
yeah.
even give it a couple of coats of clear and then give it a light sandback just to even it up.
Yeah,
That might help hide it a bit.
I'll think about it. But
Because you don't want to sand the decals because you'll go straight through and have
Yeah, I know.
little spots
I know.
everywhere. Whereas if you put a few heavy coats of clear over it and then sand it back, that might help hide them a bit.
It's not the important thing is it's not something that the Well of Tears is going to be fed, because it's eminently recoverable either one way or the other, and I've got a backup plan, so that's fine. And it was awesome to see all the guys reaching out on Facebook with
Yes, all
ideas
the
and solutions.
mocking laughter.
There was no mocking laughter. They were all very sympathetic to my cause, and I really appreciate it. And I felt the circle of love. I really
The
did.
circle of love.
You know what? I've become very aware that I could have used this opportunity to make fun of Dave, but I didn't
Well,
because I wasn't paying attention.
There you go.
is that to say you don't pay attention to whatever I say?
No, it's
Pretty
just
much.
like I just wasn't on the ball. Like I really should have been. I should have been like, this is a great opportunity.
You only had 2 coffees this morning, so
Yeah.
you're still off the market. With
Yeah, I know. No, I mean I've had you've been at this sort of thing for a week now, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. But apart from the targeting vehicle, the rest of the kit's all pre-painted and pre-deckled and ready to assemble now. So I've just got to start assembling it, and off I go.
Pre-painted, pre-deckled. You still built it all yourself. You just mean you had it done beforehand.
Yeah. When I build these rockets now, I treat them like ships in regards to doing sub-assemblies and pre-deckling before I actually glue it onto the kit.
Oh yeah. I get you. Yeah.
Just makes life a little bit easier rather than sort of trying to hold the whole model and turn it around and put decals on it.
So when are you going to do your Saturn?
Well, the Saturn, that's an interesting discussion, because I need to get a whole heap of aftermarket stuff to bring it up to scratch, and that's going to be my Opus Magna. Is that what it's called? Is that the right
Magnus Opus.
Magnus Opus? Thank you. One of those Latin terms. So yeah, I'm sort of researching where I've got to go to get aftermarket stuff. I've already got the new decals for it.
Do they make a launch tower?
No, not in
scratch build
72nd scale.
What is scratch build one?
I do one in 1/44th scale, I believe.
Scratch build one.
Nah, geez, no. The rocket's barely going to fit into its display case as it is.
I remember years ago, a while ago, someone built one, and they the way they displayed it was taking off.
Yes.
With like a light underneath it.
Well, I've got...
And that, to me, just looked amazing, because that held it up, and they had it in a nice big tall cabinet.
I have got the specific lighting and LED sequence, and it's already pre-programmed for like a what would you call an exhaust type plume. So I've got that already all stacked away. So
cool.
So I'm slowly moving forward, but yeah, got to get a couple of aftermarket things. There's a his name escapes me at the moment. There's a local Aussie guy. He does 3D printing and stuff, and he does the instrument shroud for the 72nd scale version of it. He also does a lot of B1. We had him on the show when we were at Model Expo a couple of years ago. Oh, God, the name's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, he knows who he is. So I'm going to reach out to him and get... And also Tim Holland over from The Geeks. He's got one in his stash, and he's doing the same as me, slowly collecting different parts to make it a real one. So I've got to get in touch with him and see what he's got and where he got them from, and vice versa. So
sounds good.
yeah. It's going to be awesome when it's built.
Oh yeah, I'll bet.
Remember when you built that M113, the bright yellow one, the NASA one?
The NASA one, yep.
The lime green one.
Lime green, yeah.
Is that dated to be around the same time as your?
Well, it's interesting you say that because you have to look at which particular period, because they were painted in white, then they had that sort of day glow lime green colour, and so the one I painted wasn't set for this Apollo period.
Well, you're going to need to make one in 72nd scale.
Yeah.
Put next to it, right?
A white one, absolutely.
In the same era.
That's a very clever idea, Julian. I didn't say
Of course, that's one of my ideas.
Hey, boom, boom.
All right. We've got some interesting listener mail coming on. Before we do that, would you believe that Inside the Armour is still fighting hard?
Oh, mate, he's cracking goals, isn't he, mate? He's
absolutely.
Doing all these aftermarket things for Churchills and...
Exactly right. So how about we find out exactly what's happening inside the armour, and then we'll be back with emails.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Chris from Inside the Armour, and I'd like to tell you about ITA3, 3D printed parts from Inside the Armour. And I've got a bunch of stuff for your armour, aircraft, ship and other projects coming up. Starting out in 172nd in aircraft, we've got stuff for the 172nd Airfix ME410 and for the 172nd Airfix Bristol Beaufort, including all kinds of great stuff. On the armour side, I've gone back to Churchills, and I've got some really great additions to improve your AFE Club or Tamiya Churchills, including rear deck tools with moulded tool clamps, which massively improve over the kit details, air intake grills, and the exhaust, complete with shroud, which features all of the missing brackets and details from both kits. In 148th, we've got the same stuff again for the Churchill, and this time with a few more wrinkles and improvements over the 148 Tamiya kit. In both scales, you can get WS19 antenna sets and fire extinguishers. And in 135th, we've got radios including WS11 for your SAS LRDG or early British war armour builds, WS19 for the rest of the war for British armour builds, including Shermans, Churchills, Comets, Cromwells and many more, and post-war radios including Larkspur and coming soon Clansman. For the US fans out there, we've also got the SCR 508, which features optional boxes to go next to the transmitter unit, and a whole bunch of other stuff coming up soon. So if you want to improve your models quickly, easily and with superb detail, go on over to InsideTheArmour.com and look up ITA3 3D printed parts.
Well, that's great hearing from Inside the Armour, so it's awesome that all the stuff that's coming out there.
Good on you, Chris.
Very, very excited. All right, we have got some listener mail.
Yeah.
And first one that comes in is from Lee about the Ballarat Display Day, which we've got coming up very soon, April the 21st. So it's about, well, that's next weekend.
Yep.
Next Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh.
Road trip.
Yeah, can't wait. So Lee writes in and says, Dear Benchers, thanks for your continuing mentions on our display day. No pressure, huh? We now have groups from Bendigo and Sunbury joining us and filling up a few tables with their models too. I found your discussion of making YouTubes fascinating. Now I know why I don't do it. It's probably rewarding, but the amount of work involved sounds too much like hard work. Good for those who do it, but I think I'll stick to my websites, which I can do on and when I have the time and inclination. We're looking forward to seeing you at an event. All the best. That is from Lee.
That we are. Looking forward to it next weekend.
Oh, 100%. Can't wait. And again, I'll just mention when it is. It is Sunday, the 21st of April. It is being held at the Eastwood Leisure Centre, 20 Eastwood Street, Ballarat. Admission is adults $5, children $2, family is $10.
Which includes two parents / carers and children.
Yep. And it's purely a display. It's not a competition. And it also includes a swap and sell, and all profits go to Make-A-Wish Foundation Australia.
Fantastic.
So, really, really cool. So if you get a chance, please go. If you're in the local area, please head out there.
Yeah.
And you might see us floating around.
Yeah.
All right. Next email comes from Scale Effect. And Scale Effect writes in, Hi, OTB crew. Really enjoyed the YouTube discussion in episode 185. Great to hear from some of the more experienced folks. And now I have some expert info I can apply to my own YouTube efforts. I really liked Clayton's statement about managing expectations. As I continue making videos, I find I have to remind myself my hobby is modelling and the videos are ancillary and just for fun. It's easy to get wrapped up in worrying more about getting a shot at the expense of the model, sweating over minor editing changes and explanations, etc. The same goes for how people will respond to videos. As much as you might hope, no one is going to launch their channel to millions of viewers out of the gate. I'm lucky because my mum watches my videos a few times, which makes me feel a little bit better. I'd encourage anyone who's thinking about putting their modelling related stuff on YouTube to give it a go. It's a fun way to share and others will benefit from your videos, so it's a great way to expand the hobby as well. Thanks again, guys, for all you do to promote the scale modelling across the big pond. That's from Scale Effect, and I'm pretty sure if you go to YouTube and type in Scale Effect, you'll see some of his fantastic
some good
work
stuff there too.
Absolutely. Next one is from Elliot Spencer.
Spicer.
Spicer, sorry. Oh, God.
And it's an English name too.
Get it wrong.
Yeah, well, English is not his first language.
Yeah, and he's just become one of the latest Patreon supporters too, so I've got it wrong.
Good on you, Dave.
The podcast, as well as many others, have helped me with issues I've had and still do with PTSD from serving the British Army. It's a staple of a weekend at the bench and driving to work. Please keep up the hard work, and there's too many more fantastic episodes of great banter and entertainment. Hopefully the Falcon is enjoying his retirement. Maybe he could send a single highlight for you each episode. Just an idea. There you go. Look after yourself, and please pass on my regards to Julian and Ian. That's regards from Elliot Spicer.
Thank you, Elliot, and same to you, buddy.
Yep, thank you.
Next one, an old friend of ours.
Hector Colin.
Way back. Hector Colin writes in, "Hi, gents. Just wanted to thank you, gentlemen, for always putting on a great show. I usually listen to it at work, which inevitably leads to one of my co-workers to ask, 'What are you laughing at?' Anyway, I wanted to throw my 2 cents on the discussion of gold, silver, bronze versus first, second and third. It seems that all of the podcasts have covered the subject. But with my friend Bob Fryzak sending you a letter, I had to respond. Also, I know that this subject has caused a lot of folks to get seasick, so get ready because I feel that I'm going to rock the boat."
There we go.
First of all, you absolutely butchered Bob's last name. But no worries.
Doesn't surprise me.
He and I have been friends for over 5 years, and I still butcher it. Just for the record, his last name is pronounced Frystack.
Frystack.
There you go, Bob. I got it right. I hope. Anyways, I have heard all the arguments discussing the pros and cons of both systems. Some I agree with and some I don't. My club, the Butch O'Hare Model Club, uses gold, silver, bronze system where each model is judged on its own merits and not against the model next to it on the table. Our judging criteria, the Chicago rules, is posted on our club website and clearly points out what is needed to earn either a gold, silver or bronze. When we review the gold medal models for our Best of Awards, a list of which can be found on our website. Believe me, guys, even though our rules and criteria are posted on our website, we always have someone who either didn't read them or feels that their model deserves a higher reward, despite having mould lines, gaps, crooked wheels, etc. On the Model Geeks podcast, they were interviewing the owners of Lionheart Hobbies, who stated that in a first, second and third system, if a model does not win an award, the modeler has no idea if their model was in fourth place or last. Does this really matter? I, for one, constantly ask myself why I am in this hobby. Is it to build and develop relationships with like-minded people? Or is it to simply pump up my own ego? Do we want to build our skills or fill up a trophy case with useless chunks of metal of varying colours? I can only speak for myself, but my sense of worth has never been and never will be tied to what I produce on my workbench. Model building and figure painting is my way of simply escaping the world for a few hours. As long as the unit of Warhammer 40k Blood Angel figures that I paint is better than my last, I'm happy. I don't need anybody else's approval or endorsement. I also happen to be a martial artist and have competed in several Taekwondo tournaments. These tournaments all have several divisions and events based on age, gender and belt colour. I'll never forget my first tournament. I went into the awards table and collected medals. It was later in the day and there was a little boy about 9 years old collecting his. Well, they ran out of medals. Does that sound familiar? So I gave back 3 of my medals so that the kid could get his medals. And ever since, I've only accepted 1 medal to commemorate the tournament. Well, that's a really good. Yeah, hats off to you.
Very good sportsmanship.
Yes.
Coming from a primary figure and wargaming background, I've had both the pleasure of meeting some fantastic figure artists who are all more than willing to share their techniques and experience. Unfortunately, I've also met some true jerks. If you think that IPMS has a problem with rivet counters, they are nothing to some of the folks in figure painting. Oh, excuse me. I take a sip of water. Also, as an accountant, I have to look at the cost of switching to a gold, silver, bronze format for IPMS Nationals. I think this will be a colossal mistake, simply due to the cost of metals. IPMS Nats attracts some of the best modelers in the country, if not the world, and you would think that they are all in the silver to gold range. In addition, the Nats can have several thousand entries. So my question is, how many awards do they order? At least with the 1, 2, 3 system, you know the number of categories, i.e. 50 categories. You'll need 50 first place, 50 second, and 50 third. But with the GSB system, there is no way to closely calculate the number of awards. So the host club will either have to cover over or have to either over order and absorb the cost of extra medals or under order. Then record the models that did not receive an actual medal and we'll mail them out a few weeks after the event. This year, my own club show will be an IPMS Region 5 regional show, and we are currently discussing this very situation. Some folks would like special awards that state that it is a regional show. Unfortunately, once we purchase an award and date it, then we are expecting it to become obsolete. What are we going to do with the medals that state Region Show 2024 once the show is completed? I've seen awards for the last several national shows, and these cannot come cheap. I don't want to think about what those belt buckles cost for the Nats in San Marcos. Sorry for the long letter, guys, but I know that this topic has been beaten to death and it still needs to be talked about. I think of you 3 characters as friends who I have yet to meet in person, and I know that you will take my point of view seriously and not just disregard it. All podcasts have become my extra model clubs, so thank you for listening and for a great show. If you happen to be at Nats in Wisconsin, the first beer is on Bob. We'll just hand him the check when it comes. Take care, guys. That's Hector. Well, thanks, Hector, and I definitely will be there at Wisconsin, so I'll definitely be having a beer with you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Insight into the...
And some interesting points he raises too, which...
Yeah. Like all those extra medals.
Yeah, I think the name, it might have been...
That's an interesting point, because you would think it would be a lot, but then again, what happens when the skill level is lower than you expect it to be, or higher than you expect it to be?
That's right. And I think it was Chris Meddings, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was him. He did a calculation based on Nats last year that showed that it wouldn't be that much more in regards to a gold, silver, bronze, i.e. in the ones you have to order and award. So, and let's not forget also, gold, silver, bronze, while you're competing against just yourself, it doesn't mean that you're automatically going to get a silver or a bronze. There's still standards you have to reach to achieve that. And if those standards aren't on the table, then there could be a situation where a complete section of models, let's say 72nd scale aircraft, there might not be one kit on that table that makes a silver in regards to its finish. They might just be bronzes. There might not be one there that deserving of a gold. So Yeah.
Well, I mean, Hector did say that that's something he's actually grappling with.
Yeah.
With regards to organisations. So I'm sure everything that you're thinking about, he's already thought about, or they've already thought about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even, they probably already even have they gone? They would have gone through like a few shows already and already have this.
And there are other shows out there, quite large ones, that actually do gold, silver, bronze, and it's quite successful, and they managed to.
Also, I would think that any kind of physical trophy or medal would be much more sort of scaled back when it comes to you against yourself rather than you against other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you compete against other people, that's a more significant sort of thing. So it's like, here's the person who won over all of these people, whereas a medal or a coin would suffice for you against yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's how I think about it anyway. Like, I mean, especially if like you're going on a register, like an international like website register to say this is a person who's won gold at this sort of level, right? This is his rating as a modeler kind of thing. If you've got something like that, then that means more important than the physical thing that you sit on your shelf.
Yep.
Yeah. No, good point.
Interesting discussions, and I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more about it. Next one comes from Edward Shen, who writes, "Hi guys, I've been listening to your show for quite some time. Heard someone is going to the Shizuoka
hobby show.
Shizuoka hobby show.
And that was not me.
No, it wasn't.
I'd been there in the past.
It was a listener who wrote in the last episode. I just want to share some of what I know. Since last year, the show has changed from 4 days to 5. The first 2 days are for trades. The third day is strictly for school groups, and the last 2 days are open to the public. If you want to buy stuff, I recommend you go to the days for the public. They do not sell stuff for the trade days. For the last 2 days, some of the manufacturers will sell their products. Clubs and special interest groups will also have their displays, not on the days for trade. A vending area will be open to the public on the second floor of the building across the main exhibition hall, where you can find shops and individuals selling kits, old kits, and other interesting stuff. The show where Japanese manufacturers, the show used to be the show where Japanese manufacturers announced and showcased their new products. Now, with most of them announcing it way before the show, I found it lost most of its interest for the actual reason for going to the show. The fare for
the Shinkansen. That's the
train?
That's the bullet train.
Okay, it's not cheap, and you can probably find most, if not all, products in Akihabara.
Go for it, Julian.
Akihabara.
Thank you. But it's not the only place where you'll find the most complete displays of clubs and SIGs from Japan. The food, though, is great. Its website does not say that pre-registration is required, but Japanese are quite flexible with foreigners. I think they'll probably let you in, but the third day is strictly for school groups, and you simply can't get in unless you are still attending school. Have a great day. And this from Simon Shen.
Edward Shen.
Edward Shen, to beg your pardon.
God, Dave,
you're
terrible.
No. And also, Chris Meddings also wrote in on that, and he says, for your listener about Shizuoka, can I get this right one?
Yeah, you got it that time.
Chris says you cannot get entry to the trade days without a special pass that you need to apply for months in advance. These days are business to business and not open to the public. The weekend is when you can get access to the show as a public visitor. And also, the other thing that Julie and I were talking about, travel to Japan earlier on, and it's important to carry your passport with you as well, and also show that as proof that you're a foreigner. And it also comes in very handy when you're purchasing stuff, because you get
10% off.
There you go.
Oh, do you?
Yep.
Just for being a foreigner.
Yeah.
That's really nice of him.
Thanks for that, Edward.
That's everything. That's anywhere in the country, as long as you show your passport, so you can go to any store.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
It does. Craig Everson writes in, Dear Dave, Ian and Julian, hope you're all well, enjoying any time you get at the bench. Just wanted to say I really enjoyed episode 185 about having a YouTube channel, and listening to Greg, Clayton and Stuart has given me more motivation to keep going with my own channel to improve how I do my videos. I will agree with all of them that the algorithm is a strange beast, and sometimes I can't understand how it works, and probably shouldn't try it as well.
Yes.
No, you shouldn't.
No, you end up doing your editing.
It's not surprising that my top watch videos are both from my trips to Scale ACT in Canberra. Before I go, I just wanted to say thanks to Ian and John Marley for a great time on the 48th birthday bash.
That was great,
A few weekends ago. It was a blast. Kind regards from our good friend Craig Everson.
Thank you, Craig.
while we're on Japan, so I recently found out about a show that goes on in Japan.
Oh, okay.
A hobby show. It's called Hyperplamo Fest, and it's in Chiba,
Right.
which is I believe it's like just it's where the airport is in Tokyo, which is far from central Tokyo.
Yes.
It's something like a 2-hour bloody train ride.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's no joke. Because like Narita Airport's just way away from Tokyo.
Yep.
That's why they actually built a new airport on the other side.
So people can get there.
Yeah, so out in that way is where we're near the airport. That part of Tokyo is where Hyperplamo Fest goes on, and most of the only album I could find was mostly someone who's interested in Gunpla. So they only
Showed the
Gunpla stuff, but there was other stuff there, anime figures and things that he showed. I don't know what else is there, but I imagine with that sort of a name, it's fairly all-encompassing, I suppose. Really high-level stuff. Really, really, really interesting.
Oh, cool. So when did they hold that?
Just recently. I think it was like March.
Oh, yeah.
Late March. Really cool.
Very cool, yes.
It's always like good to hear about a show that I didn't previously know about, Because it's real, with the language barrier, there's a lot that goes on that you would never even hear of,
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Very true.
All right, our next email comes from another good friend of ours, John Marley.
Yes.
Who writes in,
Hello, John.
G'day, Dave, Ian and Julian. I'd like to get the news out about an event we are having coming up in a few weeks. It is the Newcastle Hunter Scale Modelling Society are holding a model kit swap and sell on the weekend of the 25th and 26th of May 2024. It's upstairs at the Hexham Bowling Club, which is at 290 Old Maitland Road, Hexham. Entry is by a gold coin donation. Open on both Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 3:30. We're both repeating and expanding the very successful swap and sell event we've held here last year. If you live in Sydney, I reckon it'll be worth a 2-hour drive north with a few mates, maybe listening to On the Bench podcast. There's a bar and restaurant downstairs, and Frontline Hobbies in Broadmeadow is well worth visiting while you're here too. Admittedly, it's probably not worth Kentucky Dave driving across the Pacific on his ride-on mower, but we do have Newcastle International Airport a few kilometres away, so save the lawn for another day, Kentucky Dave. But I digress. There's going to be 5 deceased estates of people who have moved on to the big modelling bench in the sky, which will be there at the swap and sell. You may find that kit you've been looking for. If you'd like to join us and reserve a table to sell your own stash, they're available for just $20. Please contact Ray for further information about table reservations on 0402 255 464. So, quick recap. The Newcastle and Hunter Scale Modelling Society Swap and Sell is on Saturday 25th of May, Sunday 26th of May 2024. Open from 10 a.m. till 3:30 both days at the Hexham Bowling Club at 290 Old Maitland Road. Just look for the big Aussie the Mozzie on the sign out the front. Cheers, gents. That's from John Marley.
Yes. No, deceased estates, yeah. I went to one of them once.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How'd it go?
Let's just say I filled a car.
Seriously?
Seriously filled a car. I must have bought about 40 kits that day. I like giving away dragon armour kits for like $5 to $10 Aussie dollars.
No.
So when they're giving them away for that amount, I was just like, at the end of the day, they wanted to get rid of everything.
Right.
And like
yeah,
you
yeah,
buy
yeah.
one kit and the guy'd go, here, take these two with it.
Wow.
It was just insane. I just bought so much dragon armour that day. It was crazy.
And you know what? It's those kind of things where you find those out of production
Yes, that I did.
boxings
Found a lot
that-
of the stuff you just can't find.
Like you might be able to buy the kit in a newer form, but
Mm.
you'll be like, oh, that's the boxing I want because that's got the actual decals and the things
Yes.
for the ones that I want to build. And
Exactly, yes.
they only did one run of it, and that was that. And,
Yeah.
and people will hold on to those for dear life. They'll even if they never intend to build it, they won't sell it
No, that's right.
until they
Yeah.
shuffle off their mortal coil.
Yeah, to go to the big model bench in the sky, yep.
And then it's then you can go pick it up for $5.
Yep.
The next email comes from our good mate Kevin Footer of
Hey,
KLP
Kev.
Publishing. He writes, "Hi Dave, Ian and Julian. I hope this missive finds you well. Just wanted to let you know that I've just released the latest ebook title from KLP Publishing, and this time it's not a build guide. It goes by the handy title Chevron on Cross, Camouflage Paints and Camouflage Schemes of the Royal Hungarian Air Force.
Oh, interesting.
This is a 417-page ebook by the author Carolee Mago and covers camouflage paints and schemes of the Royal Hungarian Air Force from its inception until 1945 in forensic detail. Using historical photos, original documentation, and extensive primary research, the author sets out to answer the following basic question: whether the Hungarian Air Force had used Hungarian or German standardised colours and shades to paint aircraft. Along with the extensive discussion of the subject, the book features over 200 photos, dozens of original source documents, period advertisements, and colour comparisons using salvaged aircraft pieces. Written with a modeller's eye, the book also includes 46 colour profiles by Victor Salazzi. I very much appreciate if you could give it a mention in the show. Many thanks from Kevin.
We did.
There you go.
That sounds like a...
Reach out. I mean, geez,
Yeah.
that's awesome. 417 pages. That you couldn't do a book. It's the only you can only do it by.
No, and from what Kev's stuff is the
Yeah.
pricing is just insane. The pricing is just so good.
And on top of that, the automatic updates you get with KL.
Yeah. I've got a good half dozen of his books now, and from subjects that I'm really interested in.
Well, I'm going to digress because I forgot to mention that one of the things I purchased was the Airfix Gannet in 48 scale.
Oh, you've got that in your hands.
Oh,
now,
yeah,
there.
I was wondering if you were going to mention that.
Completely forgot about mentioning
What? So you actually went out and bought it?
It's
Yes.
a huge box. Let me
Yes.
tell you.
It's that ugly plane.
It's not an ugly
It
plane.
looks like
Ugly.
it
It
looks like a guinea pig.
a guinea pig. That's one way.
It's got a guinea pig shaped fuselage.
I just look at it and I just think it's a floater.
A floater.
Yeah, it's a floater. It's an ugly aeroplane. I am not a look. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate over it, but I'm not a fan over the Gannet. I think.
And
it's
look,
just,
it's allowed to be that.
it reminds me of something the French would have designed in the 1920s.
But-
when aircraft
that-
looked
you know
super
what?
ugly.
You know what? I think you're right, but at the same time, the British made a lot of ugly planes that people forget about.
Yeah.
People sort of conveniently put it in the back of their head and go, "Oh yeah, but the Spitfire." You know,
Beautiful aeroplane.
even the Lightning Mark II
Yeah,
with that big fat belly it's got. I used to see that
the British Lightning.
Yeah, that one.
yeah.
The British Electric Lightning. Yeah, that one. I used to see that because when I was growing up, I had like this sort of book that had lots of side profiles of various planes, and I would look at it and go, "What's with that great big underhanging belly it's got there?" It doesn't. It looks. It's like you've got this thing that's as straight as an arrow, except for that part. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why I mention that, and I've been watching lots of YouTube videos of guys who've built it, and the kit is for an Airfix kit is perhaps one of their top shelf ones because it goes together extremely well with very few, if next to no flaws.
Wow. It's also the only one of its kind.
Well, that's true too.
There are no other 48 scale gannets, are there?
Special Hobby, did they do one? I
Oh, we
thought
don't.
Special
We
Hobby
don't
did
count
one.
Special Hobby.
I'm looking.
We don't. No.
I'm looking around to get some Aussie decals for it,
Yeah, they'll be out.
and I think that's all I really need. But also, KLP Publishing happens to do a building.
They're going to be doing.
doing a building guide for the Airfix Gannet, and it's going to be done by Gary Boxall. So
Oh, he's a very prolific builder.
yes, so I'm really looking forward to that. And it's interesting. I was listening to the geeks, and I know that Whitey he's a big nut for maritime aircraft. And I know that he's got this kit, and he's like me. We should have opened it up and looked at it and gone, "Oh, let's start building it now." So, but I'm gonna be very disciplined and wait until I've finished the ones that are in line on my bench now before I
Yes.
start it. So beautiful. All right. Let's have a look.
Speaking of things that are in line on your bench,
Yeah.
how about that Formula One car of yours, Dave?
Yeah, that's in the line.
Yep, it's definitely in the line, all right.
Yeah, it's in the line.
Oh, I can't talk. My cars are still on the line. I'm still waiting for extra bits.
Mm-hmm.
Although you mentioned again last night when we were talking, you suggested I sort of do it as a sideline
Yeah,
while I'm
just
building
sort
other
of
stuff.
chip away at it is
Yeah.
a good way to work on car bodies. That way you're never sort of too disappointed or anything if you have an issue, you know. You're just sort of like, well, I got plenty of time I haven't even basically started it yet. You're just sort of chipping away at the body.
Yes.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Don't want to be like me with the Moose Saru where you're trying to do... you're having body issues way too late in the game.
Dave Lockhart writes in again. Hi, Dave. Hope this email finds you, Ian and Julian well.
Thank you, Dave. Same
the
to you.
Big event, obviously, in the States this week, or last week for us now, was the eclipse. While one could view total eclipse for 7 hours north of Atlanta, I didn't feel like driving, so I stayed put to get an 80% eclipse. Thank God for eclipse glasses, or my model building would have ceased to exist.
Yeah, I bet.
Speaking of which, Sydney's having or around the Sydney region, an eclipse in 2027, I believe.
All right.
For those of you who are interested. Dave writes on, I thoroughly enjoyed your podcast, number 185 regarding YouTubers. Watching model YouTubes has definitely improved my skills. It's one thing to read about it and quite another to watch. I can't say enough on the positive impact YouTube has had on the hobby. Even so, podcasts, especially yours, will be around for a long time. Now, how else, I should say, would I get my yard work done as per orders from the boss and enjoying it? Have a good weekend, be well, and happy modelling. It's from Dave.
I only sort of pee it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look at. We got another one. Oh, Dave Waples wrote in. This actually blew me away. So Dave writes in. Hi Dave. Hope you've been following the upgrade set offered by HS Models for the 1/200 scale Arleigh Burke class kit from I Love Kit. And no, I haven't, mate. So
Now you will.
now I will know. They've replaced almost everything in the kit except the basic structure. Now check this. The upgrade is selling for around $475 delivered in the US. If you haven't seen it, it's worth taking a look at.
Holy moly.
No, but
Going off the CAD drawings, that's a lot of extra stuff and a lot of detail.
$475.
Yeah.
It's 1/200
It's a-
scale.
Dave,
I know.
it's a ship model.
Yeah, I
They're
know.
not cheap.
I know. I get
Tell
it,
me how I know.
I know.
Mate, they're just ship models are money pits.
Yeah, but gosh.
Think about it, Dave. This is the scale that's equivalent to 1/16 scale armor,
Yes.
right? And because it's a ship, you're going to have to replace everything above the
The
deck. Everything from the deck up, you're going to have to replace if you want it to look like a decent model.
Mm.
Yeah.
And this does it all for you.
Yeah.
And you think about how even the size of the aftermarket stuff in a box would be a significant size.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you're looking at like what's effectively going to be a brick of brass in it.
Yeah, pretty much, isn't it? Yeah, it's going to be like a brick.
It's got to be a brick of brass.
It's like when you buy your first Pontos set for a ship model and you open it up, and it's like a good centimetre thick of photo etch. It's like
Sheets on sheets on sheets.
Like a good dozen sheets, if not more, of photo etch.
And that's only 1/350.
Yeah.
Get up to 1/200 scale.
Oi, oi, oi.
You think about just the railings alone. That's just so much brass.
All right.
Yes.
Next email actually came from Andy Hobbies Headquarters, who wrote in, "Hi Dave, big news on the 116 scale kit coming out today. Thanks, Andy."
Yes.
And then that was followed up by Brian O'Donoghue.
You know what I like about that email?
What?
Because I was looking at when you brought it up on the screen there, and it said 6 hours ago.
Yes.
Which is when it would have gone live on his YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
Which means he doesn't trust you with that information ahead of time. I wouldn't trust him either.
No, that's right.
6 hours ago, I was still punching Zs.
Yeah.
Brian O'Donoghue writes in, "Hi Dave, I'm guessing you're a happy boy. 1/16th M113. More options than you can shake a stick at. Will Julian enjoy the toaster? Looking forward to the next podcast and the latest update on the possum war. Who'd have thought that you'd have sapper possums? Maybe that's why they wrote to me. I'm also hoping for your musings on a 187 Armour on episode 187. A shame that Rocco disappeared from the shelves."
Yeah, that's right. They've disappeared. I remember Rocco.
Dear.
Yeah. I used to have a heap of their little armoured cars and tanks and that. And I think they were mainly made for like wargaming, but the detail wasn't too bad on them. They were quite good.
I've never heard of Rocco until just then.
You've been living under a rock.
Well, I guess so.
I've never heard of him.
So Brian says, "A shame Rocco disappeared from the shelves. They had some interesting releases. I enjoyed some of the trucks, as when I was buying and paid them, I was serving in the Territorial Army, as it was in the Royal Corps of Transport, so it was all trucks, etc. Joined the Sappers later and now enjoy modelling the more recent Sapper-related models. It's a golden age to be a modeller, ain't that the truth?"
Yes.
Best wishes from Brian, who says he lives with a possum-free garden. Well, just rub that in, why don't you? Little update on the possum wars. As I said, it's currently autumn, so I've conceded at this point. I'm just waiting.
You've conceded territory?
Conceded territory. I'm just waiting for winter to approach.
And what, then you're just going to use the old bullhorn tactic?
No.
So it's turned into a low-intensity conflict.
Well, yeah, but see, so autumn, so the deciduous trees, so the leaves are starting to fall off now anyway. Once the trees are bare, I'll remove all the fortifications during winter because they won't be expecting this. And then I'm mounting my electric fence. Approved by the New South Wales government, I might add. So it's safe to use against critters, but it will prevent
It ain't
them.
going to kill them, it's just going to shock them.
Well, it'll give them a bit of a surprise.
Yes.
It'll make their first day now and then. I'll give you that tip. Anyway, more on that as we get into winter and I do the works, the defensive works, or the reorganisation of the defensive works. Stuart Rolfe wrote in, "Hi guys, after much campaigning on the internet following your initial discussion of the podcast and you asking Andy during his interview, we have the wonderful news today that Andy Hobbies Headquarters will release an M113 in 1/16th scale as their next kit. I can proudly say I made a lot of noise in certain online groups to support this after Dave correctly claimed," let me read that again, after Dave correctly claimed how successful such a kit would be. "I foresee this kit selling out very quickly. All we need now is the aftermarket modification kits to build the Aussie LRV and MRV variants. Armoured Recon lives on still. Julian, any chance you can see yourself building one of these?" That's from Stuart, Black Hat Scale Models.
Look, it's the size of like a display cabinet for my other models, all right? I don't...
Yeah, well, all I can say is that Chris Medding still agrees with me.
What's that?
Well, actually, Chris posted on Facebook and he tagged me in. And I just replied, well.
He still agrees with me. The greyhounds are much more interesting. So
Oh, yeah. I like the greyhound.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I would have built one by now, a greyhound. But
That's the one thing I do not have in my stash yet.
Well, that's because
There's a
there's only crapper kits for it.
So you're going to get a
even the Tamiya
greyhound?
one's a crap kit, is it?
Well, it's the old Tamiya, right?
Well, have you seen, speaking of the kits, ICM's been giving out a few of the Marauders to people for testing.
What?
Yeah, the 48 scale Martin Marauder. Looking quite nice.
Well, just putting our hands up here, you know, I'm pretty sure one of you two guys would be happy to test one of them.
Oh, not me.
I'd love to test one.
There you
but
go.
I don't see ICM sending me one, but
There you go.
if they do, I'll happily build it for you.
You desperately want to build flak bait, don't you?
No.
No.
No. There's one I've got. I can't remember what bomb group it is, but it's got shark's teeth and a really nice bit of girly artwork on both sides of the nose.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got teeth on it. So that's pretty cool.
You know what? I'm surprised that that's not one of the most jumped on subjects.
The Marauder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because it's like it's the very picture of what people imagine American warbirds to be, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a P-40, like shark's mouth, guns everywhere. You know, it's very.
That's how the US
It's very pop
rolls.
culture.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, people should be building that not knowing what it is. You know, it should be that level of fame.
So I was wondering when the Sally's getting released. The Key 21.
Don't know.
Because that's coming out from them in 48.
Don't know.
I haven't seen it yet in the stores.
Don't know.
That's
All right.
another one- another
Last
one.
email.
Yes.
Last email comes from Simon Wallace Tarry, who writes, "Greetings, Ian, Dave, and Julian. Firstly, thank you for the great podcast. Look forward to every episode.
Thank you, Simon.
I'm a lone modeler, and I was wondering if you could possibly help. I'm currently building a 1/350 scale Tirpitz Tamiya kit, first build of a ship, and it's pretty abysmal. Trying to embrace PE, but it's no friend of mine. Attempting to do the varying grey colour scheme, matching the hull camouflage to line up with the superstructure, which I've not yet stuck down. Any ideas how best to approach it? Masking doesn't quite seem to cut it with bits sticking out, so I'm at a loss as to how to proceed. I have brought a wooden deck as well, and I figure that I'll be putting on after painting, ? It's getting close to becoming a shelf queen with a hint of Well of Tears creeping in, which would be a big waste of dollars and time. Thank you in advance. All the best, Simon from Modenville, New South Wales. He sends a picture, and I must admit I had a look at this picture before, and his paintwork's pretty well, not bad at
Yeah, it
all.
looks good.
It's spot on.
Yeah.
Nice, crisp. So his question is, so on the Bismarck, as you know, the hull has that sort of splinter camo.
Yep.
And
Which
he's,
then goes on to the...
He's nailed it.
yes, which he's nailed. And he's wondering how to carry that across to the superstructure to keep it in line.
Yeah, that's the fun bit. I know he doesn't like doing it, but he's just going to have to mask it. Line everything up, and then you're going to have to try and mask it by... Even still, look for some nice publications. There's some good publications, especially some of those Polish publications. They've got really good profiles. And that gives you a better idea where to start on the actual superstructure, on your angles and so forth.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just...
As for like going
a
over
tricky
like
thing.
bumps and things, yeah, it's gonna be tricky no matter what.
Yeah, and you're going to have to touch up a few areas. That's just comes with it.
Yeah.
But doing your deck, it's up to you. Either put it on now or put it on after. I'd probably put it on before you put your superstructure on. But
Yeah. You have to put it on before the superstructure goes on.
lay glue down on the deck. Even though a lot of those decks are self-adhesive,
Yes.
still lay glue down, because I've found with... was it the Shikaku's got a few bubbles in it now, because I didn't lay glue down first, and the adhesives sort of like let go a bit.
And the glue that you put down on the deck...
Just PVA glue will do
PVA
it.
glue,
Yeah.
but make it super thin so you haven't
Yeah.
got big lumps of glue underneath
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Look, I agree with everything that's been said there, and so I'd put the superstructure on with maybe a bit of blue tack just to hold it in place lightly to make sure it doesn't move around, and then I would get some Tamiya tape and follow the lines through from the hull. If you're slightly off a little bit,
No one's really going to notice it.
nobody's
yeah.
really going to notice it
Yeah.
because
Yeah, no one was standing outside the ship when they painted these things and going, "Oh,
exactly
yeah, middle more to the right," like no one. near enough was good enough because it's such a big vehicle.
And
right?
look, and he's successfully done it on the A turret there.
Yeah, I think what he's mostly concerned about is where lines go over hatches and things, raised detail.
Yeah.
And for things like that,
it's going to be a bugger, but it's just going to have to just persevere with the masking.
But one thing that you can do is what you can do is you can sort of run your tape up to, say, one of those portholes, and then another separate piece after it, and then fill the space over the top of it with blue tack or some other masking medium like liquid mask, if that's your preference. It doesn't have to be tape.
Well, I find that to do those sorts of things over lumps and bumps like that, the tape I'll get down. I've got lots of tape. It's like 0.5 millimeter wide to even 0.2 of a millimeter wide, and I'll use that to mark the actual line.
Yep.
And then I'll go back over the top. Once I've got that laid down, I'm happy with the angles. I'll then get the Tamiya tape and then just tape up against that line and to cover the rest of the area.
I usually don't go up to the line. I usually go over the line a little bit.
No, I go up to the line.
No, because then you run the risk of sometimes tape can pull back a bit.
No,
you have like a gap, and then you paint your thing as you take your tape off, and there's like this thin line that runs.
No, sorry, I see what you're saying. Yes, I agree with you 100%. Yeah. I laid on top. Yes.
Yeah.
The other thing is that I would suggest you just stop being apprehensive about it and just do it, and then make mistakes. Because every mistake you make, you'll find a way to deal with it, and your process for dealing with the mistakes will get faster and more efficient as well. And you'll get a feel for how tape functions when you have to push it to these sort of extremes.
And Simon, you get some of the hardest parts done already. The rest of it's going to be easy. I mean, that boot line is
very nicely straight.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, like these sort of techniques are pretty common to like aircraft and tanks as well. Like masking over those portholes and other raised structures is something armor modelers will have to do for hard edge camouflage on top of their tanks, and they've got all the little various modules and sensors and sights and things like that. Same for on aircraft, having to lay down decals over the top of vortex generators on an A4 wing.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh, these things scare me.
Yeah. I mean, this is just how things have to be done. I mean, you'll get better with it, even if it feels like it's the least optimal way to do things. It'll often be the only way, and there are sort of hidden tricks and skills in there for you to discover.
As the three of us know, we can spend. For myself, I can spend I remember once I spent 3 days masking.
Yeah.
For 15 minutes worth of paint.
Yeah. That's how it is, isn't it?
You just got to get into the right zone. You get in the right headspace, and the masking isn't that bad. You've got a good podcast to listen to, or something else, bit of music, and you just zone out and just.
And you'll have to go into it with the expectation that 20% of the areas you spray, you'll have to mask the opposite side and then touch up, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And just the last point I'll put in there, your PE works pretty tight. I've zoomed right into your picture, and that looks pretty darn good. I'd be happy with achieving that result.
Oh, well done.
Well done, Simon, and
keep it up
on. And send us pictures when you finish.
In fact, post them on our site.
In fact, post them to our Facebook page on your bench. So just go and put that in search. And,
I've got a ship build coming up soon.
What he's probably struggling with is he needs some mid-build motivation.
Yeah.
There'll be certain sections of your build where you sort of go, you know what, I think I need to get something more aesthetic rather than functional done, just so I can sort of get some visualization of where I'm heading,
And sometimes if you...
Mid-build motivation, man.
And as Simon just said, I mean, he's sitting there sort of by himself in his build room. He's got no clubs around him or whatever. It can be really apprehensive sometimes to take the next step on the model that you're building.
Yeah.
You can think to yourself, oh my God, I'm going to ruin this $300 model if I don't get this right. And I can understand it. Sometimes you can be paralysed by the fear of stuffing it up. Or you can be paralysed by, I don't know how to take the next step.
Yes.
I mean, that's happened to me quite a few times.
Yeah, true.
And what I do in that situation, I normally just put it aside and pull something else out and start building that.
See, I try not to do that. I've done it, but I try not to do that because it gives you an out, and then it gives you an escape, and then you shouldn't, like, the modelling should be the escape. It shouldn't be, you shouldn't have to find an escape from the escape, right?
No. But what I find is, though, excuse me, if I have a problem or I'm at a roadblock, either through skills or a mental capacity, it sounds like I'm a moron, but you know what I mean. If I hit a roadblock, regardless of what that roadblock is, if I go and switch and do something else, I find that by doing something else, I'm still subconsciously thinking about the other issue, and it'll be maybe a day, or a week, or even a month later, the solution will pop up. Oh, I know how I can do that.
That's the funny thing you should mention. That's the one thing I've found with myself. I cannot do modelling before I go to bed. Because I will not get any sleep. I'll be awake all night wondering what my next step is.
Yep.
How I'm going to tackle that problem. So I always got to give myself a couple
tossing and turning.
Yeah, I always got to give myself a couple of hours to just desensitise myself, basically. Just veg out in front of the tally, and then I'm right to go to bed. But speaking of ship models, I've taken on a commission build.
Oh, have you? I thought you weren't going to do them anymore.
Yeah, well, the money was too good.
Oh.
So, I'll be building the premium edition 1/350 scale Yamato.
Wow.
Oh, yeah? At least it's the premium. Oh, well.
When I was told about it, yeah, cool, no worries, with the amount of money, I go, yeah, no worries, sounds good. And then I got handed the box, and it's like, it's the premium edition. No wonder I'm getting good money for it.
When it comes to those issues that we were talking about just a second ago, often I'll hit a dilemma where I surely I can see the most direct path through it, which is a pain in the ass, and I'll be thinking to myself, there's got to be an easier, better way to do this.
Oh, of course,
right?
Yeah.
And then after much procrastination, I realize, no, there isn't. You're just going to have to do it the hard way.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way to do it. And it's like, God damn it. It's like, really? Really? I got to do it that way? And it'll involve some crap thing, where I got to, I think one of the times I had to deal with this was when I built the Tamiya M10 tank destroyer.
Yes.
Because it's got an open top turret. I'm like, there's got to be an easier way than just sort of having to paint the inside, mask around it, and then paint the outside, and then somehow touch up things because it doesn't,
so the inside's not olive drab.
No, the inside of the turret is olive drab, but there's lots of various bits and pieces in there.
Oh, right, yep.
And I'm like, it was my first time dealing with that sort of thing, because you can't just sort of spray in from the top because you've already got to assemble it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's in hindsight. I think look back on it and I'm like, oh, that's easy. That's easy. That's no big deal. But at the time, I was trying to wrap my head around it.
Yeah, I remember when I did the little Dragon SD KFZ 250/9, because that's got the little open turret on the top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was brilliant. I didn't have any dramas.
Yeah. I mean, I think about it. It's like, what did I have an
just
issue with?
Paint the inside and then just mask around the top lip.
Yeah. And because lately I've been going down a bit of a Gundam rabbit hole, just sort of looking at how people do things, and the nauseating amount of masking and things involved.
Oh yeah. Like I said, masking can be a zen moment, though.
It's to the point where, for some of those resin detail kits, people make pre-cut masks for the entire kit.
Oh god!
Can you imagine that? For just imagine the entire thing, every little nook and cranny and thing that's painted a different color.
Yep.
God.
Wow. That's pretty crazy.
The fact that there's someone makes that and it's aftermarket for aftermarket, right?
Mm. Wow. That's incredible.
All right. So if you want to let us know what's happening in your world, you can send us an email to onthebench64@gmail.com, We love hearing from you and everything you got to say.
Yeah.
I think we'll bring that one home now, gents.
Yeah. We're about an hour and a half chatting.
Yeah, before we do, don't forget there's a whole host of other wonderful podcasts to
That
listen
there
to.
is.
Just go to modelpodcast.com and it's got all the listing there. This is a collaborative website which has been done by our good friend Stuart up in Canada.
Yep.
And as I said, it's got all the podcasts posted there, as well as a couple of very interesting what do you call it? We write stuff. Blogs.
Blogs. That's it.
Just a blog.
That's what you were coming up with.
I couldn't get the word out. God damn. I'm still so excited about the M113s that are coming out. That my head's
So how
spinning.
many are you going to buy, Dave?
Well, you know what? I was just...
You'll have to buy a new cabinet.
Well, no. I'm just remembering back. Oh, gee. Didn't we have a bit of a wager about this?
Yep.
You know what?
I didn't wager anything in it.
I reckon you guys should buy me the model.
You
I
do.
won the wager.
You
I
do,
won the wager. Just saying.
I'll buy you a 72nd scale one to go with your spaceship.
And I'll buy the 135th scale one. So you can do your Russian nesting doll.
Oh, I'll be happy with that. Okay. All right, gents. Until next week. Yeah. Oh, by the way, just as we're recording this, people are still writing in telling me. Clayton Lockerbie just writes in and says, Dave, you got your wish.
Yes, he did.
Oh, gosh. All right, guys. Thanks very much. We'll be back in a fortnight. In the meantime, keep building and have a wonderful time.
Bye.
Hope you all had a great weekend at AMPS and safe travels home.